Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Diana, and in this section I will help you to understand sense of hearing. So do you know? One very common cause for hearing loss is cerumen impaction, or earwax buildup, in the outer ear canal. Impacted earwax can become as thick and hard as a crayon. Moving forward, the ear has two sensory functions, hearing and equilibrium or balance. The sensory receptors for both of these are located in the inner ear, and each consists of hair cells with stereocilia that are sensitive to mechanical stimulation. The hair cells are Mechanoreceptors, which respond to pressure or body movement. Moving towards anatomy and physiology of the ear. The ear has three divisions: outer, middle, and inner. The outer ear consists of the pinna, or external flap, and the external auditory canal. The opening of the auditory canal is lined with fine hairs and sweat glands. Modified sweat glands are located in the upper wall of the canal. There, they secrete cerumen or earwax, which is a substance that helps guard the ear against the entrance of foreign materials, such as air pollutants. The middle ear is carved into the temporal bone of the skull. It begins at the tympanic membrane or eardrum. Three tiny bones, collectively called the auditory ossicles, are found in the middle ear. Individually, they are the malleus, or hammer, the incus, or anvil, and the stapes, or stirrup, because their shapes resemble these objects. In case you're not sure, an anvil is a heavy iron block that can be used as a surface to hammer metal, and a stirrup is a structure attached to the side of a saddle into which a rider will put his foot. The malleus attaches to the tympanic membrane, then forms a joint with the incus. In turn, the incus then connects to the stapes. The stapes fastens to the oval window, which is a small, membrane-covered opening in the bone of the inner ear. Another, even smaller membrane, the round window, is also located in this bone. The round window helps to diminish pressure waves in the inner ear. An auditory tube, or Eustachian tube, which extends from each middle ear to the nasopharynx, which is area at the back of the throat, which joins the nasal cavity, allows us to equalize air pressure. Chewing gum, yawning, and swallowing in elevators and on airplanes help to move air through the auditory tubes upon ascent and descent. As this occurs, we often hear our ears pop. The inner ear is divided into three areas: the semicircular canals, the vestibule, and the cochlea. The semicircular canals and the vestibule are both concerned with equilibrium, and the cochlea is involved with hearing. The cochlea resembles the shell of a snail because of its spirals. Now, let's discuss the sound pathway. Sound waves pass through the auditory canal and middle ear to the cochlea in the inner ear, which transforms them into nerve signals conducted in the auditory nerve to the brain. Now let's discuss the pathway through the auditory canal and middle ear. The process of hearing begins when sound waves enter the auditory canal. Just as ripples travel across the surface of a pond, sound waves travel by the successive vibrations of air molecules. Sound waves do not usually carry much energy, but when a large number of waves strike the tympanic membrane, it moves back and forth or vibrates, ever so slightly. The malleus then vibrates from the pressure wave, from the inner surface of the tympanic membrane, in turn vibrating the incus, and then the stapes. The slight pressure wave is multiplied about 20 times as it moves from bone to bone. Finally, the stapes strikes the membrane of the oval window, causing it to vibrate. In this way, the pressure wave is passed to the perilymph within the cochlea of the inner ear. Now, let's discuss the traveling of waves from the cochlea to the auditory cortex. As we have discussed that, this is semicircular canal, this is oval window. This is stapes, this is round window, and this is cochlea. If the cochlea is unwound and examined in cross-section, you can see that it has 3 ducts: the vestibular duct, the cochlear duct, and the tympanic duct. Both the vestibular and tympanic ducts are filled with perilymph, while the cochlear duct is filled with endolymph. The sense organ for hearing, called the spiral organ or organ of Corti, is located in the cochlear duct. The spiral organ consists of tiny hair cells rooted in a basilar membrane. A gelatinous material called the tectorial membrane sits above the hair cells, and their stereocilia are embedded in this membrane. When the stapes strikes the membrane of the oval window, pressure waves in the perilymph travel from the vestibular duct to the tympanic duct across the basilar membrane. The basilar membrane moves up and down, and the stereocilia of the hair cells embedded in the tectorial membrane bend. Hair cells communicate with neurons of the cochlear nerve. Bending the stereocilia of a hair cell causes changes in the amount of signaling from the hair cell to the neuron, and this affects the frequency of action potentials that are generated in the neuron. Action potential signals are transmitted into the brainstem, where they are relayed through the thalamus to the auditory cortex in the temporal lobe. There, the signals are interpreted as sound. Auditory memories of the sounds we've heard in the past, such as the earworms, are also housed in the temporal lobe. This was all about this video. But before ending it, let's move towards the question that I have asked from you. So the question was that, what lobe of the brain might be affected in uncinate fit? What might cause the phenomenon? Well, answer is that an uncinate fit is a form of epileptic seizure. Epilepsy results from excessive neuron activity in a particular brain area. In an uncinate fit, the temporal lobe areas controlling smell may be damaged, and the seizure results. So this was all. Stay tuned to sqadia.com for more precise and knowledge-stuffed videos.
Explore our extensive library of over 1,800 video lectures to learn about a wide range of topics. Only on sqadia.com.